American drinking culture sucks. Now there's 3 reasons why it sucks. Number 1, our drinking age is international age 21. That's 22 or 23 in Korean age. Number 2, it's really impossible to get alcohol until you're that age. And number 3, I'm going to explain some really weird situations that happen because the drinking age is so high and it's so hard to get alcohol until you're really that age. So I like to play this kind of thought experiment, this kind of game with Korean friends that I meet. And I ask them, let me clarify this first. My friends who have been to America, my Korean friends I met in America who have lived in America, they know this. But my Korean friends that I met in Korea that have never been to America, they don't really realize this because I guess you don't see it in American movies that much or in American dramas that much. But the drinking age in America is international age 21. That's Korean age 22 or 23. Okay, really, I think it's Korean age 22. All right, that's very, very late. So I like to play this little game with my Korean friends that I meet, and I always ask them, what do you think would happen if tomorrow the Korean government changed the law so that your drinking age was Korean age 22? What would happen? Now, first off, the Korean kids would be, I think, super pissed off because I know that in Korea, college is kind of a reward for like the crazy high school system you go through. So there's this idea that you just give up your high school life and just work super hard in high school. And then when you get to college, you get to have some fun. Now imagine if they changed the age to 22 in Korean age, your first 2 years of college, you wouldn't be allowed to drink. You'd have to wait until your 3rd or 4th year of college. That would piss them off supremely. Number 2, think about the surjeep and the club and the restaurant owners. They would just lose 2 years of customers that can no longer buy alcohol, basically. And when I think about, I mean, I know Sinchon and Hongdae, they're definitely next to universities, but I think around almost every university in Seoul, at least, I think in the rest of Korea, around every university, there's a little drinking area. That's just pretty much their whole business is college students drinking. And they would lose half their customers right then. They would be super pissed. And the other thing is, I don't even think Korean parents would necessarily like it. Like even super conservative Korean parents who want to give you a curfew and want to watch everything you do, I don't even think they think you shouldn't be allowed to drink until you're 22. That's crazy. I mean, I'm not sure because I don't really know, but like I don't imagine, they don't think drinking is like this crazy thing that you can only do if you're like super old. I think everyone can agree, like when you're in college, you should be allowed to drink, okay? Now, imagine that situation that I just described, how crazy it would be. That is America. That's how we do drinking in America. Now, not only can we not drink until we're 21, but it is super strict, okay? Super, super strict. Now, I know in Korea, you guys have been, I think recently they've been carding a lot more. When I first came to Korea as an exchange student, when I was in Korea, it was like 8 years ago, and they were very lax about, I don't think I ever got carded. Maybe it's because I was a foreigner, but I looked young enough that you should be able to card me. In America, I understand you guys are carding more now, but in America, it is super, super strict, okay? Like, even if you're 40 or 50, they usually ask to see your ID, okay? Even then, if you don't have it, maybe they'll let you go. If you're like my age, I'm 32 in international age, 34 in Korean age, if they card me and I don't have a card, they're not gonna let me drink. I'm not joking. This is not an exaggeration. Most places will not let me drink. No liquor store, most liquor stores, most restaurants, most bars, they will not let me drink alcohol. They seriously won't serve me unless they know me well, unless it's the bar I go to every weekend or a liquor store I go to often. They're not gonna give me alcohol, okay? On top of that, if you don't believe my strictness, this is no joke. I have a bunch of Korean friends in San Diego. And when they want to go to a club or a bar in downtown San Diego, or in PB, or in some of the areas in San Diego where people drink, they try to bring their passport. This happens a lot in downtown. They show them their passport to show their age, and they say, nope, gotta have a California state ID, like a driver's license or a California state ID. This is massively confusing for the Korean person because you're allowed to enter our country with a passport, but you can't get alcohol. You're not allowed to come into this bar with that. I'm not making this up. This is not every single bar, but there's a lot of bars where this happens, and it really confuses my Korean friends. It confuses me too. It's crazy. They know it, but the idea is that people are so scared because it's hard to get a liquor license as a bar. And if you do anything to fuck that up, you'll lose your liquor license and you'll lose your business. So they just think it's better safe than sorry. I'm going to be really strict. I'm going to follow the rules. And if somebody sneaks past me, it's not my fault because I followed the rules. So you have this situation where people with passports can't even get alcohol because we're super strict. This leads to some really weird stuff that happens, okay, when you think about it. Because there are 3 big ages in America. There's 16 when you can drive, there's 18 when you kind of become an adult, and then there's 21, which is the most important because that's when you can finally drink, and that's when you finally have all of the freedoms of being an adult. So now think about this. In America, when you're 18, you can start voting. You can choose the president, you can choose your mayors, you can choose senators. You have the full rights of an adult. You can sign contracts, you can work. Your contract means something. Like I can make a deal with someone and I can get in trouble if I break that contract. I am an adult, right? I can vote, but you can't drink alcohol. You can't have a sip of beer. And like I said, super strict. Nobody, even if the bar only has beer, or even if I go to a liquor store and I just buy a little bit of, that's completely not allowed, never gonna happen. So you can vote, but you can't have a sip of beer. Think about this other weird thing, okay? In America, when you're 18 and you're a man, you can be forced into the military. Now, it doesn't happen often, but it did happen about 40 or 50 years ago with the Vietnam War. People were forced to go to war, but those people who were forced to war couldn't even drink beer. They weren't allowed to drink beer. In fact, I've heard, I'm not in the military, so I can't completely check this, but like, even now, if you're an 18-year-old in the military and you get stationed in Germany or Japan or Korea or anywhere where the drinking age is lower, on the American military base, you can't drink until you're 21. So if they have a bar on base, they're not gonna serve you. But if you walk out the gates, like I'm pretty sure this is in Germany at least, you walk out the gates, you can drink when you're 18, so people are getting drunk. I think you're not allowed to come back to base drunk if you're under 21, like you'll get in trouble. But that's just a really weird situation that like when you're in the military, on base you can't drink, but outside you can drink. And you should double check me on that because I'm not 100% sure how it works, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Think about this too. When you're in college in America, you can't drink for about half of your college life. Even like sometimes 75% of your college. Depends when your birthday is, and because our college school years end in the summer, it kind of, when you turn the age to get alcohol, it changes, but it's usually not until like the middle of your junior year, or even sometimes until your senior year. You can't drink in college, and they're pretty strict about this, okay? Like my college, my university, it was what they called a dry campus. You were not supposed to drink anywhere. Now in America in general, you're not supposed to drink in public, so it's not that crazy, but you can drink anywhere except for 3 spots. There was a real proper bar that had like liquor and stuff like that. There's a pizza place that had beer, and there's another restaurant that had beer and maybe wine. Okay, but you could only drink those small little areas. My university was like physically large. It was a huge campus. If you wanted to drink, those were the only 3 places you can go. And if you wanted to do more, you had to like walk 25 minutes to get off campus. It was nuts. Not only that, a little side note too, I was shocked when I came to Korea because my university is kind of like Mobamsang University, a bunch of nerds, and they never drink. And in America, there's some correlation between being like a Mobamsang and drinking. Like generally, nerds don't drink, especially at my university, but there's a correlation in America. I was shocked when my friend brought me to, I came to Korea. My friend brought me to Seouldae, because she went there. And we're just walking around, we're just talking, she's showing me, giving me a little tour, but I don't really care, but so we're walking around, I see this little group of people. I remember because it was so funny because it was a really sunny day. So they set up this little tent and everyone had to squish under that tent and sit down to stay in the shade. And they were just getting drunk at like 1 p.m. on like a Tuesday or something. I was so shocked because this is the nerd school. In America, nerds don't drink. In Korea, everyone drinks, so even nerds drink. Even at 1 p.m., even at like the best university. Like it was a really weird, that was a culture shock to me, even though I had known Korean people for so long and everything about that. But my point is, in America, you can go to university and you spend a lot of your university career and you're not even allowed to drink. Now let's step it up one notch, okay? Let's take it to another level. In America, you can drive a car when you are 16. 5 years before you're allowed to have a drop of beer. You can drive a car. Now, a car is not only transportation, it's kind of a weapon. You can kill people with a car. Not only that, I mean, like, you have a huge amount of... Every other country in the world understands. In America, you can get a driver's license like that. I think it costs like $35. If you're over 18 or over 21 in America, but okay, or over 18, but 16 you're allowed to get your license, but you have to do some extra stuff. And then when you turn 18, it's really easy to get your license. So I think over 18, it costs like $35. Something to take the driving test, and then they'll give you a license. But anyway, the point is that 16, you can drive a car. And that's a huge responsibility, because if you get in a car accident, you don't only hurt yourself, you could kill somebody else. You can kill like a baby, okay? For some reason in America, we've decided 16, you're allowed to have this huge responsibility, but you can't drink beer until 5 years later, until you're 21. That is nuts. I think that's crazy. And the last one, the real big thing, which to me is hilarious. I mean, it's not hilarious, it's kind of bad, but it's really weird, is in America, you can be 18. You can't buy alcohol, but you absolutely can buy a gun. You can buy a weapon that kills people like that. You get a death button. Some reason you can be trusted with a death button, but you can't be trusted with a sip of beer. That's insane. Now, I think in California, you can only get a rifle and a shotgun when you're 18. You have to wait until you're 21 to get a handgun. But still, isn't that blows my mind, even though I grew up in that country. Like, I mean, really think about it. And in most countries, you can't even get your hands on a gun. But in America, before you're allowed to have one sip of beer, you can easily and legally buy a gun. Now, I told you we can't buy alcohol until we're 21. I told you we're super strict about it. And I showed you these kind of weird situations where it's like, you can do these things like drive a car, vote, be forced into the military, buy a gun, but you still can't buy beer. You still can't take a sip of beer. For all those reasons, I think America has a pretty bad, pretty terrible drinking culture. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you hate the video, give it a thumbs down. If you like me, if you hate me, please subscribe. My videos have become very, very much less popular recently. So I'm going to say this. If you can, if you have the time, and you have some favorite video of mine, maybe it's this one, maybe it's another one, please take the time to share it in your Kakao chat rooms where you have, like, you know, your 동아리 친구 or your 고등학교 친구 or your 대학교 친구. Just take your best video, shove it in there and say, like, I like this guy. He's weird, he's funny, he's got some crazy ideas, whatever. That helps me a lot, because hopefully they see this and then they do it too, and then it can spread and become more popular. And then, of course, the most important thing, have an awesome day.